Here we go, episode 524, No Laugh Track Podcast here at Acme Comedy Company in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Justin Severson is my name. I get to host this each and every week. Sean Patton is here with me for the many times, each one cherished.
Fifth?
At least. It's got to be.
Because you just said 524?
Yes.
That's a dope-ass number. I'm pretty sure the first one I ever did was like 73.
Oh, it might even be lower than that. It was
Really?
first year, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was first year. It was, I was here with my wife last night. We just celebrated, 8 years of marriage? We were barely...
Oh, congratulations.
We were barely dating when I brought her in.
So
She used to come in with me. Here's how things have changed. She used to come in with me the first few months we were dating and watch me record the podcast. Now she hasn't listened to it in 7 years.
When I saw her last night, she was clearly like, "This is all you're gonna see of me this whole week, Sean. I will be a memory, a ghost, an apparition. Do I even exist?" Well, right here, I'm gonna guess when you edit this, find the actual first episode number, put it here. But I'm gonna guess 41.
There it is. Well, yep.
Yeah.
We'll see. I will say, so of course, what I always do is I listen back to the most recent time you were here, and I did that. And at the very end of that, you predicted a number for this time.
What did I predict?
494.
Whoa.
Way off.
Well, so last time I was here was New Year's Eve,
yes.
2022.
Yep.
And we were trying to come back, because right now, for this episode, in case you're wondering, just for the archives, it is November 2nd, 2023. We were originally going to come back earlier this year, but I booked something filming-wise that made... I was going to come back over the summer, and then we had to clear my summer, and then writer's strike, and then things are still up in the air. So we've been... If the writer's strike... but then again, if the writer's strike would have... nothing would have changed, so I was just wrong. There I go. Trying to no, here's why I was wrong. But no, I was wrong. I was off by 30 weeks.
So I suppose you just said you recorded something. It's something that you now, of course, can't talk about.
No, I can talk about
it.
I shot up. I got cast in a pilot, and it's awesome, and it's a really fucking good show. And we shot it, and originally it was supposed to, if it was going to go, which we all think it did, and still did, and still will. It would have shot over the summer, but now, writer's strike, which, awesome that they won that. I support that shit fully, and they won.
Yeah.
The writers won across the board. And now we're waiting for the actors' strike to end, because now the studios are trying to stick it to the actors, but they're going to fold. They have to. There's more actors than there are writers. They need everybody.
Are you part of that one?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not Writers Guild yet, but I'm definitely SAG.
Okay.
And support that shit, because, those assholes at the top can still make a metric fuck ton of money, and give everybody else a fair amount as well.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous. How do you want to be so wealthy that no one else can exist? Is that the new American dream?
Sometimes I think that.
I think that actually is what the goal of America is, to be so rich that everyone around you is dead and you just have everything. That's a fucking dream, and it's so goddamn stupid, and I hate it. But anyway.
100 years from now, there's going to be, instead of 3 rich people with their own ships to space, there's going to be 100 of them, right?
Yeah, or just 100 rich people, and that's it.
And that's it.
On a planet, just not knowing how to do anything because they've been paying people to do everything their entire fucking existences, and they're just going to die, but very comfortably, kind of, maybe not even comfortably. They won't have servants, or they'll try and be servants and cooks for each other. And realize, oh my God, wait a second, this is difficult and weird. And wait, did we screw up? And that'll be their last thought, all of their simultaneous last thought, when one of them forgets to turn the fucking oxygen valve back on.
This isn't the premise for the show that you had, is it?
No. That would be a good.
Because it sounds like a good one.
Premise.
Does it?
Just 100 rich people survive the apocalypse and have everything they need to live and further their lineage.
But they have to get, the positions of, like you said.
They just don't know how to do shit.
Right. Someone's going to have to cook for the rest of them. They're like, I've never even been in the kitchen. I just yell to it.
Or there's one, they kept some higher, the Gordon Ramsays.
Oh, yeah.
They kept a few of those guys around, and the What's the guy that did Dirty Jobs? That dude,
Yeah.
Mike Rowe.
Yeah.
They keep these guys around to like do shit for them, but then these guys revolt.
The
but there's only
experts.
8 of them.
The celebrity experts get to survive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's 8 celebrity experts versus 100 billionaires, and they win easily. It's one episode. It's a movie. It's not even a TV show.
Yeah, movie.
It's a short movie. It's a short film.
I look
But-
forward to that.
No, the show's it's a dope ass show. I hope it goes, but it's a really fucking great. I won't say the name of the network. I'll do. I probably should just keep that under wraps.
Sure.
But it's a dope. It's a really fucking awesome TV. It's awesome. Like it's not one of the a lot of times when you get into acting stuff, you'll take roles because it's a role, and it can lead to better roles type
Sure.
shit.
Yeah.
This is one of those like from the jump, awesome.
Damn.
Just a great premise, great character, great cast, created by awesome people, awesome network. And if it goes, I think we'll be. I mean, who knows what a hit is anymore? Because now there's like, there's TV shows that millions of people have watched that you and I have never heard of,
Oh yeah.
and vice versa. But I
Yeah.
think this will be one of those 4 or 5 season shows that millions of people watch.
Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
I hope it
Please,
happens.
please.
I hope it happens.
I like when you notice things.
I hope it happens. Have you noticed
Me
that the number one movie on Netflix right now is the Bill Burr, the Old Dads thing, and they're announcing numbers.
Oh yeah, they have to. They have to now. That's part of the deal.
Oh, is
That
it?
was part of the deal with the strike.
Oh,
they have to
okay.
start
So I'm
announcing-
noticing that because
Yeah.
that interesting.
God, I hope the show goes.
Interesting.
I really do. But
Because it's always been like, well, we think it's doing well on Netflix,
No,
but
they
no
have
one
to.
says the numbers. So
They have
that is
to.
part of that.
they have to. They have to.
And they're
they
going,
have
yeah,
to.
29 million views or whatever.
And it was
is.
all. It was all. The idea was that
Okay.
they had to be honest and open because they were, they were acting. I think every streaming service was acting like, of course, people are watching, but then the investors, the people who invest in that, don't really know. And then it also is about transparency. So like, yeah, people still watch Netflix and HBO or just Max now, but then a lot more people just watch YouTube now. And like, so now that they have to be honest with the numbers, because YouTube's always been like, look right there, it'll tell you how many people watch it. Like now I'm guessing it's a more honest, option for investors to be like, do I want to put money into something that is only getting as much views as YouTube clips are? But yeah, you kind of do because, YouTube. I don't know why. You remember YouTube Red?
Yeah,
That's where.
little paid service.
Yeah, remember that's where Cobra Kai came from.
Yes.
It came from YouTube Red. I don't know why that went away. I still think YouTube should have all of it's original content, but you know what I mean? I still think they should have like a scripted OG content. But then again, you look at guys like Gillis, him and McCusker and Gillian Keeves, they just started their own. Like that's what you could just do that now. Start your own YouTube channel and monetize it.
Yep.
And all your videos get millions of hits, and then you're basically your own channel.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing like people were tired of just being like, wait, these guys are telling us exactly how much they're making, how many people are watching. Why aren't you doing service that we all have to pay $9.99 a month for?
Yeah.
Why aren't you doing the same? Because it would be interesting to find out if. But then, man, now I'm even curious as to like what that's going to create. Because then, if YouTube gets too big, then it starts to be like, okay, we got a paywall now, and then Netflix becomes free.
All I know is every time I
Yeah.
go on YouTube, they're pitching me for the, get money out of me, because I just use
Oh yeah,
for free. I'm not
Oh, yeah.
paying for anything on YouTube.
yeah.
But every time I log in, it's another sure you don't want to subscribe to blah, 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 YouTube TV? Are you positive? We'll give you a month. We'll give you 3 months. Are you sure?
Well, from what I've been
Are
told,
you sick of commercials? Because you could pay us. You won't get commercials anymore.
oh man, but then it's like, well, you'll still get commercials. And then there's tiers. You're like, well, you still get one commercial.
That probably is, yeah, right?
I will say this, so that's actually interesting. 'Cause now I'm wondering if Peacock, because my special's been out on Peacock for almost a year now.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if they will tell me how many people are watching it because they haven't been before.
Okay.
And it's hard to know because ticket sales for me have increased, but not in this insane way. And I guess I'm getting a higher quality of audience member, which I've always wanted,
Hell yeah.
but which is awesome. But I'd love to know how many people are actually watching it because I know with Peacock, you can watch my special for free, but there are definitely commercial breaks. However, I got to choose the times of the breaks.
That's great.
Changer.
Oh
Game
my
changer.
goodness, because I do watch specials on
Yeah.
like YouTube, and all of a sudden it pops in the
Yeah.
worst time. You're
I
like,
got-
what?
yeah.
No one's paying it. Why is anybody paying attention to these spots?
Dude, I'm
Oh, that's
telling you,
awesome.
I got to choose every single.
Oh,
like,
that's awesome.
There's 7 commercials.
Okay.
In an hour and 27-minute special. It's a long special, but there's a narrative. You'll love it. But I got to choose every one.
Oh, that's good.
So I made sure it was like bit, ends, laughter, now a special, now, and then nothing too jarring. It's like it wasn't chosen by a fucking algorithm.
Awesome. That's how they should all be. I want to talk about you being here this week. Last night, I was here. Obviously, you know that. It was fun as hell,
awesome.
as always.
Yeah.
You brought a new feature that I hadn't seen before.
Yeah, Tanael. I'm gonna say his Tanael Jashim.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say his name because he doesn't like. I get it. He's Haitian, but he goes by TJ the comedian.
TJ the comedian.
Yeah, but he's fucking great. We met years and years ago in New York. Actually, it's kind of funny. We met years and years ago in New York, and like 2 years before the pandemic, we're hanging out. He was around, doing spots and shows, and then the pandemic hit, and we just kind of kept in touch. And him, myself, and another guy started doing a podcast. For like a year, we did it, and then the other guy just wasn't as into it, but we kept in touch. And every now and I don't take him on the road constantly because he's hard to follow. He's, you know what I mean, like, which is what you want, to be honest, as a headliner. You want to walk out there on your P's and Q's instead of, because I know certain headliners who bring softer features. I get that, whatever. Sometimes it's your friend and you just want to get them work. Sometimes it feeds into the act. For me, it's like TJ is at headliner level already. So
I have to say that actually crossed my mind last night, that his material was so strong that I actually was sitting there thinking, this almost isn't fair sometimes to a headliner because he's doing a shorter amount of time and it is so polished. And the headliner might be coming out, definitely probably doing double the amount of time and probably doing a comedy club right, going to probably mix in some new stuff, right?
Sure.
So it's not a level playing field when people are like, man, that,
Man, I'll tell you this, and this is the most arrogant thing you're going to hear me say in 524 episodes of this show. You hear anyone say, of me at least, of 5. Like, I'm not this huge sellout guy. I'm not this, I have friends who are multimillionaires doing theaters, and I'm still pushing to get 6 shows at a club sold, And and I'm not complaining. We're each where we are for a reason, and you just got to fucking be grateful for it. The fact that I get to do this for a living and get to do it constantly and get to up the levels of which I do it every year, even if it's just a few degrees of, it doesn't matter. It's like, it's growing. It's an experience. It's fucking amazing. I'm very happy. I will say the only reason clubs like this, which I said last night on stage, arguably one of the top clubs in the world, I'm saying. That's right. Not just the fucking USA, the world.
Bring it, England.
The only reason I get to keep coming back to clubs like this is because I produce a level on stage. I don't fuck around. I'm not up here doing dog shit crowd work. I'm not doing the same act I've been doing for 6 years. None of that. Every time I come here, it's like I am going to give you me at my best. Me at a 10. This is one of the clubs I push. I mean, every time I perform, I do this, but this is especially one of the clubs where I like push myself harder every time I come here, right? So I would rather a guy like TJ, because he will put the audience, he will bring their expectations up a little bit higher. And that means I meet those expectations, and then if I push myself, exceed them. And if I exceed them, that means the material I went on stage with is better when I got off stage.
Yeah.
By the time I get off. So he actually makes me better.
Love that.
And that's why I bring guys like him around.
Yeah.
Can't bring him all the time because he just did a whole European tour by himself. Like, he's doing his own shit, so I can't bring him everywhere.
Yeah,
it's not because I don't want to. I would if I could.
So if people want to find, we're talking about him. He's awesome. TJ, what was his online?
So his name is Tanael Joachim.
Good luck with that.
Yeah. But I could spell it TANAEL JOACHIM. But he goes online. He goes by TJ the comedian, and he's Haitian dude, lives in New York, very fucking funny, very smart guy.
So you come out on stage. You came up on stage last night and had to address your limp.
Yeah, dude. I tore my calf doing karaoke on the Bert Kreischer Fully Loaded Cruise. It just sounds 100% like what happens on that cruise.
Yes.
It was a fucking it was an insane experience, dude. It was like, yeah, I would do it again in a heartbeat. But like, it's a certain amount of like Bert didn't eat sugar or drink alcohol for 83 days, right? And was exercising like a madman, and he looked good. You could tell, you know, because he shirts off all the goddamn time. You know,
Yeah, there's no
all the
hiding
time.
that.
Yeah. Um, in fact, his audience won't. They get like if he walks out on stage with a shirt on, they like hold. It's almost like they hold their breath until he takes the shirt off. I can't wait. Okay, I don't. Bert's. It's documented, so I'm not blowing up his spot. He's like 51. I think he's about to turn. Or he just turned 51.
Sure.
There's gonna come a point, I think, in a few years where he's like, you know what? I've done this. I'll put the shirt back on. What if he does that? Just walks on stage, keeps his shirt on. People are like, and he just starts performing. Inevitably, someone will be like, take the shirt off. What if he's like, no? Takes the pants off instead. Fuck it. You know what I mean? And then just does drama. and then just does a 90-minute dramatic monologue. And people are like, well, what is this? But I think people would still love it. They'd be like, Bert. And then
we went to his stadium show here when he was here at the arena, whatever the basketball arena earlier this year.
Yeah, you know, the arenas.
Yeah,
arena.
you know, arena. It was nuts. And, you know, you're waiting there for the show to start, and there's a camera going around the crowd, and every time it gets to a group of guys, whoop, shirts come up.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I mean, dude, speaking of arenas, since last time I was here, last December, that was not the last time here, but last December, I'm saying in 2022, I opened for Bill Burr at the Smoothie King Center in New Orleans, which is an arena, and it was like just over 13,000 people.
Oh, I didn't know that. Hell
yeah, shit was wild, because you hear all these horror stories about doing arenas.
Yeah,
right, and I'm sure to some aspect they can be true, but like I remember I went out there, and the moment I got the first laugh, it was like, oh, this is just another set.
Yeah.
There's just 13,000 people. And it was wild. It was awesome. It was a fucking awesome experience. And it was New Orleans, so I got to cheat a little bit.
Sure.
You know, I could throw out a couple local, you know, things. But like, it was fucking wild. It was fucking wild.
That was the biggest up to that point?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
13,000. Larger than the suburb my parents live in. You know what I mean? Like, more people. It's fucking insane, dude.
Yeah, that's some crazy perspective. I want to ask a few more things about the fully loaded at sea. I mean, it's crazy that, I mean, you were just there like over the weekend, and here you are. You were in the Bahamas just moments ago, and now you're in freaking 40-degree Minneapolis.
It was fun. Yeah, I flew from Miami to Minneapolis on Halloween Day.
Did people boo when they do, and we'll be landing in Minneapolis at approximately 4:15 with the current temperature? Did people boo the? No.
No, everyone was, dude. Miami, it was so fucking hot, dude.
Oh, really? It
was like that, and it's like, you know, it's that swampy southern hot.
Sure.
It was like that on the boat too, but the boat was moving, so it was pretty cool. Because it was like, it was crazy, dude. I think there was 2,000 people on the boat.
Okay.
You know, and then plus like, you know, staff, and then us. There was only 15 of us, 15 comedians. And
only 15.
I know, but we were all doing shows, and people were there for it, man. Like, there were multiple times where, like, dude, the shows might suck tonight because people have been drinking all day, and it hammered, and they were showing up for it, and they would sit and they would watch, and no heckling, no one had to be thrown out. You know, probably some people were too hammered and maybe spoke up every now and again, but then got immediately shushed by everybody else. They were there for it. It was a wild experience. I mean, what's funny is people were like, dude, you're going to get laid on the cruise. And you're like, it's all couples. It's all couples.
Really?
All of them. Yeah. But everybody says, it's funny, like, you hear people who want to shit on Bert be like, oh, dude, all of his fans are just other straight white dudes. I'm like, no, it's straight white couples, all right? I saw it on a boat. There was equally as many women as there were men. And they were equally as fucking bout it as were the men.
No shit.
Women were probably even more bout it, right? Because remember, Bert's famous, so now his wife, Leanne, is also famous.
True.
So they're there for her as well. And like, but they were at the shows in the shit, but everyone was fucking, there were 95% of that boat was couples.
Wow.
There's probably some swinging shit that went down, but like, you know what I mean? Like, it was all just like, oh no, everyone's 38 and married. Wow. So unless you're gonna jerk off in front of them, or they're gonna jerk off in front of you, or one guy's willing to let you fuck his wife, or vice versa. It was actually more. I hate to say this because I feel like this might be a knock against it all, but I hope it isn't. It was more wholesome than you think.
Interesting.
Like, yes, there was a.
Have you ever done one of these other comedy cruises?
No, it's
like
my first
with
one.
the,
No, it's my first one.
Impractical Jokers or whatever. These other.
There's been a couple times where Sal has tried to get me on that, but it just didn't line up. He's the only one of those guys I actually know. I love him, but this is the first time. And yes, there was shit. Like there was a fucking a Speedo contest where a guy showed his micro penis. I can show you a picture of it. I can show you a video of the dude's micro penis. It's a moment, right? It's a moment. And
was that advertised? Come see the micro penis.
No, it was a guy. It was a guy who was just doing the Speedo contest, and for his coup de grace, his closing moment, he just dropped trout.
No.
And everyone was, and I wasn't there. Well, the video shows it, but everyone's just sort of like, "Oh no, wait, where is it?
No.
Where is it? Holy!" And then people were just enamored, like, "Wait, what the fuck where's your dick?" And he, micro dick.
Wow.
But so kudos to that dude. But
that was the ad for the Fully Loaded at Sea. I went to the website. It said, "Be prepared for outrageous activities."
There were some outrageous activities.
Okay,
but it was less. It was more like it felt more like a reunion of friends than it did this debaucherous fuckfest. The shows were awesome. The hangs were awesome. We were all encouraged to do karaoke every night. Karaoke would be the closing thing every night. Right?
Okay.
So the first night, Norman and I got way too fucking shit-faced. So by the time we got to the karaoke, both of us were like, "No fucking way, dude. Sorry." They didn't care. I mean, they didn't care if you did or you didn't, because the karaoke would go for 5 hours. Right? Sure. But we just kind of watched and hung out. But the second night, Sypha and I did a Weezer song, and then the third night was the same night that Bugatti was hosting SNL. So no one caught this, but I went up and did a Foo Fighters song and gave a shout out to Nate Bargatze, friend of everyone on this boat, doing SNL tonight, and Foo Fighters were the musical act.
Yeah.
So I did Everlong, which is one of my favorite songs ever.
Oh, so cool.
But then the last night, everything was sort of, people were at their running on fumes. And they're like, "Sean, go up right now. You're high energy." I'm like, "Fuck yeah. Okay, fine. I want to do a deep cut. Let's do Anomaly by Incubus. It's not in the fucking menu. I'm ordering off menu here." And they found it. Like, we got it,
Okay.
And I love that song. Not a lot of people know that song, but I fucking love that fucking song. And I just went full 11 on it. And I felt it happen while I'm jumping around. I'm swinging my head, just fucking screaming these lyrics with my voice, which you can hear. It's still blown. I felt it happen. I felt the pop in the calf, and also heard it. And people are heard it over all the music. It's happening in your body. Yes, you hear it because it's inside of you. But the moment it happened, I was like, "Yep, I just ripped my calf."
A torn calf muscle is a painful injury in the muscles behind the shin bone.
Yep.
Athletes and people over 40 are especially prone to this type of muscle injury.
Yep.
Calf muscle tears usually heal after a few weeks of conservative treatments, Sean, such as rest, ice, compression, and elevation.
Been doing all those things.
Yeah. On stage last night, you came out and briefly mentioned that you had an injury, and then you said, "I hate when comedians do this, but I'm going to kind of sit or lean," and then that lasted about 30 seconds.
I couldn't do it. That's what I was telling you before. It felt so unreasonably unnatural to be sitting in a stool.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I've never done that my entire fucking career. 21 years I've been doing stand-up. I've never sat in a stool for longer than however long I had to sit in it for a bit.
Yeah.
Because I'll do that. But something about sitting there. I mean, I don't hate it when certain, Che does it really well. And even Schultz, they'll do it really well because they're both very animated from the waist up.
Okay, yeah.
You know what I mean? And I get that. Even Marin will sit in the stool sometimes. And but sometimes
he looks like the thinker guy though.
Right. Yeah, that's his natural pose. But sometimes people sit in the stool and I feel like this natural sort of arrogant laziness comes over them on stage. And I just don't like it. And I don't like the way it looks. And I'm also a pudgy guy, and pudgy guys sitting down just don't look as cool as we do standing up roaming around. But fucking, which by the way, dude, this shirt, I just realized I was wearing this shirt the day we stopped on the cruise. We stopped in Nassau, right? And I kept walking around being like, "Nassau, Bahamas. It's where we are." It's the stupidest fucking joke.
So
dumb. Man, it's good to be here in Nassau, Bahamas. So cool. Which, by the way,
welcome to Austin, Massachusetts.
Oh, dude, that keep Boston weird.
Exactly.
That won't be difficult, you fucking cocksucker. Fuck you fucking cocksucker. But yeah, dude, blew my fucking shit out. So I'm gonna be limping. I'm kind of looking forward to this. I have a legit Irish shillelagh that I got in Ireland years and years ago.
Yeah.
Right, and it's perfect. It's like a perfect. You know what a shillelagh is, right? You can just insert the definition right here for the viewers who don't. No, but it's an Irish cane that can also be used as a weapon. It's awesome. I love that thing. I'm kind of looking forward. I go back to New York on Monday to having to use it.
Finally, an excuse.
Just fucking walking around with fucking gangsta limp, and people are like, "What's that?" I'm like, "Tore my calf doing incubus."
5 years from now, you've been healed for 4.5.
Still
using it.
Still use. We should all have a gentleman's walking stick.
Yeah.
I think every human should have a walking stick and a knife on them at all times. Less crime would happen.
Yeah.
Less bullshit.
I'm in.
No guns, knives, and shillelaghs.
I'm in.
Also, if you got a gun, just shoot bad guys only.
I like that. So we have to talk about the. You mentioned it. Did you mention it before we were doing this, about how you toured a lot with David Cross in the last year?
69 shows.
69.
69.
That was no accident.
Is there a more celebrated but less performed sexual act than 69?
No. Nope.
I mean, I feel like Doggy Style is the one, but you have but people actually do Doggy Style, and there's far less opportunity to just go Doggy Style. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, right.
You know what I mean? But like 69, it's like, what's the temperature? 69. How old's grandma? 69. Yes. Which interstate? Route 69. There's so many chances to go 69, but there's also a lot of chances to actually do 69. And most of the time, you're like, how about you go, then I'll go, then we'll bang.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think once you try that, then you quickly go into retirement, realizing this isn't working for either of us.
It's not. Yeah, it's too much concentration. And you can't concentrate on both.
No,
you can't.
But 69 shows with David Cross, including one or several in the Twin Cities. I went to one of them.
We did one in St. Paul and then one here in Minneapolis. The St. Paul show was great.
Fitzgerald Theater.
Yeah, that was fucking great. The hang afterwards was pretty fun. That St. Paul, man, I wish somebody would go in there with a mop, and a broom and a dustpan, because like, it's such a fucking, it's beautiful, but mother of Christ, is it dire?
Yeah.
It seems like no one gives a shit about that place.
So you probably don't know this, but we hung after your show that out. We went to a place called Allery's.
Is that where we went?
Downtown St. Paul.
At the bar we went to?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a good time.
It went out of business a month later.
No, that place. What?
Uh-huh.
All the video games and shit?
Uh-huh.
That sucks.
It's been closed since June.
Yeah, man. Like everything was closed there.
Yeah.
I feel like every restaurant, like 2 restaurants are open. Every coffee shop was closed at 1 p.m.
Yeah.
And like just walking around the town, it was like, bro, there's nothing. But that show was fun.
So after that show, there was an on-stage hang with some people that I think paid for like a little VIP treatment.
Yeah.
Right? Was that common on the tour?
I could tell you right now, it was, but David was not happy with it. He was really against the whole fucking idea of doing it, of like people having to pay extra to meet him.
This is what I wanted to know.
No,
yes.
He was very against it. But as sometimes agents and managers do, they get you to agree to something in a different context and just ignite it. So like he kept being like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to take extra money for people to meet me. And I was like, oh, sorry, it's already done for all these shows.
Sure.
So towards the end, but to his credit, he treated every single one of those things full on professionally. Like he made sure to talk to every single person there. He gave everyone a picture, an autograph, whatever it took. Sometimes it'd only take 40 minutes because there'd only be 10 people. Sometimes there'd be 50 people. It'd take an hour and a half.
Yeah.
But he did them all. And I've never seen anyone as consistently cool to fans as David. I mean, not even at the meet and greets. Like one time we were at the airport in line at security, like waiting to get our bags through the machine. And this woman was like, oh my God, I know this is so inappropriate, but I feel like if I don't do it now, I'm just never going to. So can I please get a picture?
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, of course. And she did the picture. And then immediately like 4 other people while waiting to get bags. We're like, oh, good. And, great. And sometimes we'd be just like walking around during the day. Someone come running out of a restaurant or something, or like families, or like he was always very cordial, very nice. He'd take pictures. The only people he was kind of dicks to, and he should be, were the fucking goddamn eBay motherfuckers.
Autograph seekers.
Those guys suck.
Yeah.
Those guys are fucking twerps.
Yeah.
Because it's their thing is so transparent. They're like, oh my God, is that David Cross? Insane. I just happen to have 15 of these license plates that say, whatever the thing was from Arrested Development. Or like, oh my God, yeah. Oh my God, is that David Cross? Holy shit. I just happen to have a case of copies of
Mr. Show on
Mr.
DVD.
Show. Can you sign them all? And we didn't know this until our promoter pointed out. They're the ones that have the blue markers, right? Because apparently a blue signature can't be lifted or copied. It's something like that. Or maybe it can be lifted and copied. They only need one. Anyway, so this is funny because some of them might not know this, but if you ever came at us with the blue marker, he signed a different name, so it's worth nothing. He did that. That was fucking hilarious.
No shit.
Yeah. He would sign, if it was legit fans, he'd sign whatever they had, as much as they had. But if it was these people who you could tell didn't give a shit about who he was, they just, TMZ told them. That's the other thing. Sometimes they were at the airport just waiting.
Sure.
And it's because there's TMZ, but it has its own, it'll tell you who's flying into where, and it has flight records and shit, apparently, which is psycho. But he fucking, if they came at him with the blue marker and they had 9 copies of, Make America Great Again, he'd sign a different name every time. He'd sign other celebrities' names. He was just, and they didn't fucking know.
So there's some out there that say Sean Patton, possibly?
There's a lot out there that say like Richard Pryor.
Dead celebrities.
Yeah, there's a lot out there that say like Benny Hill.
Joan Rivers.
Like he just, but like, as far as just fans, he was sweet as hell to everyone. Loved fans. But yeah, the meet and greets were a little weird, but like we made the best of them.
I'll be forever indebted to you because I got to have basically a one-on-one conversation at Allery's after the meet and greet thing. Then we went to the other place, and at some point, I'm just standing next to David Cross and nothing else. Nobody's within like 6 feet. It's just the two of us, and I'm like, okay, how do I not blow this? But I have to talk. Oh, dude, I got to talk to him. We talked about basketball and his family for a minute. It was awesome.
I mean, dude, so
awesome.
Earlier this year, I got to ride in a car from LA to San Diego, which took about 3 hours because it was a heavy traffic day, with Bob and David and just a tour manager. So tour manager's driving, I'm sitting shotgun, those two in the back seat just going at each other.
That's like something that someone would pay money, like, dude, I'll pay $100 raffle ticket to have it travel with these two for 3 hours.
It was insane. Like, I don't think I said a word for 2.5 hours because I'm just listening to the two of them just riff and go back and forth. And I'm like, dude, fucking 22-year-old me might, 44-year-old me was going to faint.
Yeah.
I was like, this is fucking insane. And then eventually I was like, guys, I do have a list of if I ever find myself in an enclosed space for an elongated period of time with Bob and David questions I have to ask. And they were like, yeah, dude, fucking, that was the other thing. He loved, that was, because there were many times where it'd just be me and him in a car sometimes, or me, him, and the tour manager. And I'm like, and we're like arguing about Saints versus Falcons because he's an Atlanta boy.
Yeah.
Or we're just talking about comedy, or we're just like, or we'd be out drinking. I'm like, I'm just here with David Cross, the dude who like, my idol in a way, the guy who like made me like my favorite comic when I started doing this all, and he's just chill. I know where he lives.
Yeah, isn't this amazing?
I've met his kid. I know his wife now. I mean, his wife's also kind of famous.
Yeah,
pretty famous.
Yeah,
she's also awesome. But like, I met his mom and his sisters.
It was fun to tell people, like when I was going to that show, like I'm gonna go see Sean Patton. He's opening for David Cross. And the people who don't instantly know who he is from his name, and then you have to go, okay, where would they know? Arrested Development, you would know him from Mr. Show. And then if it's people like younger, like Alvin and the Chipmunks. Oh, him,
dude. It was kind of, or Scary Movie.
Oh, Scary Movie, yeah, that too.
It was kind of wild, like, because it was always like, if you could, I mean, stereotypes sometimes exist for a reason, but you could tell, like when guys like you were walking up, you're like, Mr. Show fan. But if it was like younger kids, you were like, okay, definitely Alvin and the Chipmunks. Especially if it was like younger black kids.
Yeah,
you're like Alvin and the Chipmunks or Scary Movie.
Yeah,
every time. And it was like, yeah, whatever. That's what they saw, But when it was women were always Arrested Development, and that was like 90% of the women.
Yeah.
But the women that were Mr. Show fans, those were the biggest David Cross fans
I
that
bet.
I'd ever seen.
I've never met one.
Exactly. But there would always be a handful in every city, and the amount of those women I saw weep after they got to meet him, like hug him for too long. You know what I mean? Like talk to him for too long. And it was,
I love it.
women in their 40s who were either divorced or just not with their husbands.
I have a feeling that
Yeah.
you're not going to be able to answer this question, but I
Yeah.
want to see your response anyway.
Sure.
I want to see how you're going to respond to this. At some point that night when we were hanging in St. Paul after your
Yeah.
show, you told Brandon and I that you and David had been coming up with this joke.
Oh, the most offensive joke possible.
Yes.
Yeah, that was more me than him.
Did you guys ever come, or did you ever come up with a final?
No,
It can't go any farther
No,
than this.
no, because I remember when I told you guys what I was like, I think this might be the most offensive joke possible. Both of you were like, fuck, that's pretty fucking bad, dude. And I was like, yeah, maybe I should ice this. But I was just, him and I talked about it in the car ride. We're like, who's the most, it started with, what's the most offensive joke now? Because
Yeah.
Jimmy Carr it was something that Jimmy Carr had said that people were giving him hell for, and it wasn't even that offensive. And then we started digging through just like, he was talking about coming up in Boston, all the shit people would say back then.
Sure.
And jokes. And then all of a sudden, and also the idea is true, like a joke is a joke, and sometimes it's supposed to be offensive because that's what's funny about it.
Mhm.
Is it's obviously so outlandishly offensive that it can't be racist, sexist, anti-Semitic, misogynistic. It can't be any of those things because it's so those things.
Yes, because it's ridiculous.
You're clearly going over the edge
Yep.
on purpose. But then we started talking about most offensive comedians, and that led to like, what's the most offensive joke you've ever heard? And then it was like, what would the most offensive joke be? And then it just got like, whoa. And then I ran with it way more walking around St. Paul that day. And then when I told it to you guys, it was like, yeah, that's pretty, whoa, dude. That's pretty fucking, I can't say it. I'm not going to say it.
Can't
I
say it.
can't.
Yep.
But
Sorry.
find me on Instagram. And in fact, it's my new Patreon.
There you go.
The most offensive joke possible. I'm pretty sure I have it.
Patreon.com/most offensive joke ever.
I mean, dude, speaking of offensive jokes, the only show of the 69 that we had to have someone thrown out of was Minneapolis at First Avenue.
Oh,
It was the only show.
what happened?
Some dickhead. And it was at the end of David's set. At the end of David's set, started doing a very like, ha, 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 ha. That's so funny. Ha, like started doing like because David, if you don't know David's stance on religion, let's just say it's not exactly the most pious.
Yep.
And he closes with a big thing about it, and I think it's fucking brilliant.
It is.
But this dude was clearly just sarcastically laughing through it.
Yeah.
And David, and I'd never seen him do this, but he just like stopped the show and he goes, "Really? This is how you think you're gonna get me? I got an idea. Bye." And then the guy was out. And it was funny because the tour manager told us later that they threw the guy and his girlfriend out, and the girlfriend was pissed because she wanted to stay. So she was just shouting at him out on the street.
Good.
Which is hilarious.
Good.
But that show was actually pretty fun. And that was the crazy thing about touring with him too. Of the 69 shows, I'm gonna say 60% of them were in theaters. But then the other 40% were in music venues. And when we did music venues, I'd say half the time standing.
So it's just gonna ask you. Okay.
Yeah, and I'm gonna tell you what, he swore by it. It works.
No kidding.
It fucking works, man. People are attentive. They'll stay. They stayed the whole. And he did I would do 20 minutes. He would do an hour and 20.
Yeah.
So it was like, people stayed the whole time. Yeah, they shifted around a little bit, but you didn't notice when they'd walk to go get a drink because everyone was standing.
Yeah.
And like it worked, and you could get more people in there, and he just liked that vibe better. But yeah, shit was wild, man. Like when we were in England, we did a place called Union Chapel, which was like a church, right? And it was a beautiful old church. And we do the show, and then we find out after because we're like, wait, there's no beer. They're like, yeah, they can't serve alcohol. This is still a church. And we were like, what? They're like, yeah, on Sundays, Mondays, Tuesdays, it's a functioning church. The rest of the week, it's just a venue. And we're like, so we said all that shit about abortion and Jesus on stage at a real church? Wow, that's fucking cool. You know?
And no one was hit with lightning?
Nope, exactly. No plague of locusts chased us down. You know what I mean?
The power stayed on.
Everything was good. Maybe me blowing out my fucking calf. Maybe that was the
Mysterious
vengeance.
ways, Sean.
God waits a few months and then gets you during incubus, which of course is a male demon.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yep, right around Halloween.
Yeah,
Coincidence? Nope.
Actually, on Halloween morning, because it probably would have been 4 in the morning when this
Come
happened.
on.
Mm-hmm.
You should have seen it coming.
The Lord got me finally. Yeah, shit was wild, man.
Oh, that's hilarious. We should wrap this thing up just based on time here. Otherwise, you know, we could do this forever.
We can do that. We could do episode 525 right now.
Yeah,
Just
right.
Go right into it.
Right. Let's see. So, final, we should mention again. Number 1 is the name of your special.
Number 1 on Peak. So there's 2 of them now. One of them, I was a social experiment. I put a special out on YouTube maybe a little over a year ago. That's called It's King Scorpio, which was recorded as an album, but we filmed it. My buddy had his Alexa, if you know cameras at all. It's high, it's broadcast quality, but only one camera. We only had one camera.
Okay.
So he just came to. I was doing it in Portland. He just came to the Helium, and just filmed it on his high-end camera, and then gave the footage to my friend who's a director. He's like, "Dude, can I just cut something together out of just one camera angle over 5 shows?" And I was like, "Yeah, go for it." And he did, and I liked it, so we just put it on YouTube.
Okay.
And and some people it looks cool. And there's also the album version, King Scorpio.
Yeah.
But the official Peacock special called Number 1, I fucking love it. And if you happen to be listening to this outside of the United States, it is available on international YouTube.
Oh wow!
But international YouTube only, and that's for about a month now. It's only been out, but in the States you can only see it on Peacock.
On Peacock
for the next year, anyway.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, watch it. I love it. I
Nice.
love them both. So watch them both. Have a me day.
Have a me day. We all need that. And then quickly, like, what do you have coming up? Like, are you more touring on your own? More with somebody else?
So I'm touring a lot for the next few months. It's all on my website, SeanPatton.com. Follow me on Instagram. I've tried Twitter. I've really tried. Not Twitter. Twitter's fuck off. I've tried TikTok. I've really tried TikTok. It's just not my vibe. So follow me on Instagram at Mr. Sean Patton. I post constantly about everything. But yeah, I'm touring nonstop for the next 3 months. So, and then for forever. I'll be touring forever. But the next 3 months specifically is a lot. So come on out. I'll be doing my next special next year. Things coming up, of course. Stay tuned to me.
Hell yeah.
And you will see.
Hell yeah. I can't recommend coming to the shows this weekend enough.
Please come.
We had
to these
so
shows.
much fun last night. It's such a good set.
Thank you.
Not stuff. If you've seen Sean before, you're not going to recognize stuff. It's new.
No, it's new stuff.
It's so good. So
thank you, buddy.
Get over here to Acme and see Sean. Follow him on social media and go Saints.
I mean, who dat? If this hat's more about the city of New Orleans than as a football team. I wish people would understand that more. I think most sports team hats are more about the city than the team.
Yeah.
You know, because I especially since I've been here, I've had people like, "Skull!" up in my face. I'm like, I don't, what? Oh, yeah, that's right, Saints hat. Like, I don't care. Yes, you beat the shit out of us multiple times in weird, unfucking reasonable circumstances, okay? I know we tried to kill Brett Favre, okay? I know. They paid the penance for that.
That's right.
God damn it. I didn't know about it when it was happening. That team would not have beaten the goddamn Colts. Okay? Can we just admit that?
No.
That team wouldn't have. So, but.
We'll never admit that.
No, I know. But, hey, Justin Jefferson, who dat? Because he's from Louisiana.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
See?
Yeah, there it is.
See, there we go.
And he rules.
You can be mad at Sean because he's got a Saints hat on.
But this is about Justin Jefferson.
It's about Justin Jefferson.
That's what this hat's representing.
Somewhere Justin Jefferson has a Saints hat, too.
And he's also got a blown calf.
From Karaoke?
No, I don't know. Unless that's a route they run. It's like they call. He's like, "Oh shit, they're right. Blue 68 karaoke," and he's that's the route he was running when he got hit.
Hilarious. Thank you, Sean.
Thank you, Justin. Acme.